G'day, Bob. How are we all going today, tonight, both? Maybe. Blacky did that one straight into the microphone. And yes, Z-Beam has just said it in the chat. It is bloody hot right here, right now, and very humid. Loads and loads of rain, and then boiling hot. 2 days in a row now. It's not even summer yet. It's terrible, terrible, disgusting weather. Anyway, I might be doing this show solo today. Or then again, I can always bring Huawei up, can't I? James Hukulak, first cab off the rank. Bucket of kudos out to you again, son. Well done. Oh, that might be going to plague me for the next hour or so, this nonsense in my throat. And speaking of Huawei, I love you too, buddy, and welcome back. Good to have you. Kat McKenzie, hello again. Sky Dancer, how are you? Who else have we got here? BJ Palmer, hello there. I should have said. Vinoksky, how are you? And Z-Beam, how are you? Z-Beam will not be on screen today, ladies and gentlemen. He's a busy, busy boy. Wait a sec. I'm going to get someone to remind me to do that before I start as well, because it gets a bit gross. GRB, how's it going? Welcome to you, of course. Two Dougs, g'day mates. Both of yous. Never gets old. Never gets old. I don't know if I've ever asked what the GMA stands for. Good morning, America. No. Maybe. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Itchy nose, cloggy sinuses, froggy throat. I wonder if it's humidity related or if I'm getting down with the sickness. Ooh, That's generally quite a good a noise to loosen up the stuff in the back of one's neck. Yeah, weather, eh? We all get it. We all get used to it, and we all love talking about it for some strange reason. That's probably the reason, isn't it? Because it's a universal thing that we all experience is the weather. Makes sense. I've solved it. All right, that'll be the show then. We solved life's greatest mystery. I'll see you next week. So yes, I won't have any Shanna on screen tonight either, or should I say Shanna na na na? Shanna na na na. It's just a movie. I can't remember how that song goes. It was on in my car the other day too, so I should. Oh, that, yeah. That means I should remember it. Yeah. Good logic, Blacky. Yeah. Haven't heard from Joel. Hasn't said he's not going to be here, so it's probably a good sign that he'll be here sooner or later. And potentially Scunch Princess a little bit later on. She's en route to her house. Oh, yeah. I meant to catch up on that because it had a very interesting title, didn't it? Damn. Should have reminded me. Huawei, where were you when I needed you? Yes, right. I guess if Joel turns up, I'll find out. If not, I'll have to go and watch the stream. and get closure on what's going on. Ooh, I really want to go and murder that thing before it gets me. Big March fly. Yeah, that's what the title said. And then, but yeah, I generally see notifications for his stream when I first get up in the morning. And that's generally quite a busy little while for me, busy enough to forget things that I saw an hour or so ago. So yes, I will check that out later on. What's been going on in everyone's world? Everyone watched The House of the Dragon, like most of the planet. G'day, Vitra. How's it going? Yeah, that was pretty fun and typical Game of Thrones style. Finish on a cliffhanger, which is never very exciting, but, you know, I understand that it's a valuable method to keep people coming back. With the heat comes more flies, more and more flies every day. But at least it also means more mosquitoes, which means more free fish food. Oh, that's an interesting discovery I found this morning. I walked out past this big tank when I came out of my room. Walked past, saw a little wobbly thing on the wall, and it was a bristlenose baby. So for the first time in about 3 years, I think, my bristlenose have bred. Who would have picked it? G'day, Gaffer. How's it going? So yeah, I only saw one briefly, and then not again since. Yeah. I couldn't work out what the white thing was on the fish tank that looks like a fish, but it's a rip in the plastic thing over there, just a reflection. That would have been fun, but yes, I've got baby bristlenose, apparently. I think the mosquito fish won't be big enough to hassle them too much. And yes, I've only got reasonably small females in that tank, so probably not a huge batch of babies. Let me do a bit of that and a bit of that. Excuse me one moment while I kiss the sky. And what do I do here? That one, goodness me. Sorry, I'm so not professional today. I'm going to do a bit of that before I continue talking about normal stuff. Yeah, I am well away. It does concern me that I may be coming down with a cold or something. Clowns. That's another video I'm going to have to go and watch, is it? To get context. Crikey. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Huawei. I sent you a link if you'd like to pop up, because, you know, me being so wheezy and boring today, you might have to be the entertaining factor. Wrong button. It's probably just another side effect of smoking cigarettes, I guess. Sure you would, Huawei. Sure you would. Crikey. It really is quite annoying to talk with this vibration in my head. What did I say? It's the dragon thing. No one must have watched it. No one answered. What have people been watching? That's all we can seem to fall back on when there's nothing to talk about. What's on telly? Yeah, come on, Sam. They're all sick of me already. Get up here. There's me, there it is. Or, let's do a Q&A. Ask me some questions and I'll try and answer them mostly honestly. You go paint your eyebrows on. Yeah. I only started that last night, BJ, because I didn't want to do two similar shows at the same time. So yeah, I finished not Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, all these bloody of names. Finished that last night and started watching the first episode. God, it might have been 11:30, closer to midnight when I started it. I hadn't had very many beverages, so I probably will remember it all. Yeah, it was good fun identifying, because I don't remember all the characters' names from Lord of the Rings and stuff, but, it was fun aligning them based on their appearance, because it was, quite obvious that they got lookalikes for the young versions of the old elves. Galadriel and Orlando. And the other ones, who was the other one? Hugo Weaving. His lookalike was pretty decent. Orlando's pretty much had the same head structure as Orlando. But yeah, they really definitely worry, don't they, about other actors playing known characters and stuff. Because if Galadriel or whatever she's called didn't look like, was that one Kate Blanchett, I think? Yeah, or if it wasn't the same actor and it didn't look the same, then the internet would be a burning ball of fire. I was going to say a balling burn of fire. Words. I've got the words. What did Peter Capaldi? I think that's where I started watching Doctor Who. Is he the one that had Billy Piper as the offsider? His character in the show was called Billy as well, I think. But yeah, I'm giving Doctor Who a gradual tinker over time as well. But yeah, I'll probably have to smash out the Rings of Power before getting into another show. David Tennant's always good. I maybe saw one or two of his episodes of Doctor Who a long time ago, but yeah, he's good in whatever he's in. Good Omens, that was fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty much my point, BJ, is that they did good work getting very close lookalikes. G'day, new local Austin. How are you? Thank you. I've had to put all my hair away because it's so hot and sweaty, and just having it resting on the back of my neck is enough to make my forehead break out in fluids. Oops, I'm not supposed to do those ones on mic. Sorry. I shouldn't do those ones either. Chris Eccleston. He's the leather jacket wearing one, was he? He's a Scotsman or something with a thick accent. Yeah, everyone's handsome when they're snorting snot and growling phlegm and smoking cigarettes. It's funny that I alleged that cigarettes may well have been the cause of my raspy throat, and then I went and lit one. Sensible boy, sensible boy. It's like trying to put out a fire with more fire. Trying to stop a flood with a watering can. I'll stop there. Northern right now. You know, often it can be difficult to differentiate between those northern English accents and the southern Scottish ones. Yeah. Yes, the northern accents are nice and thick as well. Some of my favourite accents on the planet are the northern UK ones. Michael Atherton and what's Bumble's real name? English cricketers from the northern parts of the England. Very, very awesome accents. That I do enjoy very much so. Punchy Paints, how are you, Pam? Cracking a bev with all you greats. That's the spirit, Michael. I'll wait a second and then pop a guest up.
What?
Why does it default to that bloody big view every time?
The big view, dude. We like the big view. Oh my god, it's so big. It's the biggest view. It's the biggest view you've ever seen. It's unbelievable. What's up, dude? What's going on? What are you doing? What's happening?
Sweating and wheezing and sniffing. A bit more of that. I've got these lurgies that I can't shake in the back of my throat, and it's making my voice sound funny and laboured.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
Oh, you know, the usual, man. I got something in my eye. I don't know what's going on here.
I got something on my nose.
I got something right in my eye. All right. I had top chat open. I got to not have top chat open. We got to have live, the most livest chat, right?
Got to get some live into your chat.
Get it live. Get it while it's live and fresh.
Oh, that stinks. I might have got it, though.
What'd you do? Oh, man, I'm being summoned. I'll be right back.
A flame to my nose to get rid of the itch. And now the smell that's remaining will probably make me think that I'm itching. It really does seem like it's taking a lot of effort to get normal volume out of my voice.
All right, dude, I'm back. Sorry, I was summoned.
Summoned by the court of law.
Yeah, by the judge. The judge was calling, shouting my name from the other side of the house.
Judge Vicky Shindlin.
Yep, coming strong. And yeah. Yeah, what is that? What is that with ladies who just like shout things from the other side of the house? What is that?
Efficiency, time management.
Is that what it is?
Well, you know, that's why we invented yelling, so we can convey messages across larger distances than having to walk the distance to make a message at normal volume levels.
Well, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like I'm just over in the other room talking, and then you're supposed to know what I said. And it's like I don't. There's so the entirety of my life, right? The entirety of my life, there have been people talking in other rooms, and I frankly just ignore them because they're not talking to me. They're like over there around a corner in a different room, right? And
It's
I'm
just
like,
background noise.
I'm not listening to that noise because that clearly can't be somebody talking to me. They're not even in here, right? But you get in a long relationship, and then for some reason, the other one is talking in another room, and you're supposed to be laser focused on whatever it is that's going on over there. What's that all about? What is that? But I'm a comedian. Hey, I observed this thing that happened.
What's the deal with?
What's the deal with ladies talking in the other room? Guys, parallel parking. What's the deal?
Isn't it a shame that that's a skill that the kids of the future will not learn?
Parallel parking?
Yeah, because all their cars are going to do it for them.
I don't know. I don't know how to use an abacus. I don't really give a rat's ass. It's a skill I don't have. But some old person would be like, there's no way he's going to make it through life not being able to use an abacus or guide himself via the stars whilst floating in the ocean.
I'm actually old enough that we were taught how to use an abacus in primary school, or elementary school, as you would call it.
Do you know how to still?
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could probably pick it back up. It's all based on ones and tens and shit, isn't it?
It's learned behavior. You've lost it. You've lost that skill forever.
Because I didn't practice.
It's gone into the ether. Yeah, I'm sure there's a million things that, like, people won't know how to do that just won't matter anymore, And I'd forgotten about this, but I accidentally. So when I'm at work, my YouTube just auto plays stuff, and I just listen to it on my headphones. And last week tonight with John Oliver came up. That was like an old one, and it was the one about it's the one about the self-use cash registers, the self-check that they have now. And then they did the parallel with like ATMs, right? Do you guys call them ATMs?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I know like some places are like, it's a teller machine. And you're like, what?
They call them ATM. Cash points in the UK, I believe.
Or a cash point, yeah. Anyhow, the automated teller machines, right? Which there was a ton of outrage. Like people were freaking out about those. Apparently,
all the bank tellers that would lose their jobs.
Yeah, all the bank tellers are going to lose their jobs. Everyone's going to die in a fire. Just the general level of outrage that people have that is just way over the top. It's too much, really. And then, but over time, actually, the funny thing is they actually have more tellers now. They had to employ more tellers, right? Because the tellers, they stopped doing the stupid stuff, like taking a deposit where you could just fill out a slip and stick it in the ATM, or like take $20 out of the bank. Like these people don't need to know anything to do that for someone, right? It turns out they started employing. They forever since had to employ more people at the bank because they automated a function that was wasting time. So then the bank people were more ready to go into the bank, were ready to do other services like, oh, I need a cashier's check, or hey, can I get an extension on my credit, or can I get a bank loan? So it turned out like there's actually more jobs because of automating something that was stupid, right? And so, yeah, I think
Hello,
it's
Alyssa.
the level of outrage that has existed over the years of like, people losing the ability to do stuff. I think it's typically just manufactured,
Yeah.
more
At
often than
my
not.
my local bank branch that I bank with, they have like a concierge when you walk
Right.
in the door, and they ask what you need to do, so they can direct you to the appropriate human to help you.
Yeah.
And going back a couple of months ago, I went in to deposit some money for my mum into her account, and the teller she was almost cranky at me.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you can do that on the ATM out the front, right? Not being helpful, almost a berating tone,
Right.
going, "You idiot, go and use the machine next time."
Right. You're wasting my time. I'm here to help people that have complex problems. And like, so the reality is that like in the grocery store, like the checking part is the dumbest. It's the dumbest part, right? Like it's the most menial. It's the most menial task at the grocery store. Like stocking shelves is complex, helping customers is complex, slicing meats to order is complex, but like just running the stuff through the scanner isn't that complex because all that work has been done previous to your engaging with the cash register person, right? Like all the prices are on there. There's a barcode, all that, blah blah blah. So, it's an interesting thing, but I kind of look at it this way: like, if there could be more people to just help out in the store area, the better. Like I don't know how many times I've been to the store. Like, where is this random thing? Like, where's the wax paper or something? Like I've got a list here with a couple of additions that I don't have a clue where they are. And actually, on an anecdotal note here, I was at the grocery store the other day for a barbecue lighter. God, what else was it? A barbecue lighter, parchment paper, like waxed parchment paper, and one other random thing, like spun sugar or something weird. No, what was it? I don't remember what it was, but it was 3 really random things, and I was like, I don't even know where the hell they are. And then, of course, I found an extraordinarily nice lady who was working at the store, and she took me to go find all 3 of them. She was just like, yeah, let's go find them. I think this one's over here. And like, we ran around and I got them, and then I got out of there, and it was enjoyable. I got to talk to a person because that person wasn't stuck behind the cash register, like booping barcodes, So maybe
Obviously
maybe that's
enjoyed their job enough to
yeah,
want to help.
maybe that's the wave of the future, my guy. Maybe the wave of the future is there's actually helpful people in the grocery store again because they don't have to boop a boop code with the boop 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 boop
I
boop
always
boop boop.
I always found myself to be a very helpful guy when I was working in the grocery store, and that used to be fun.
Yeah.
One of my favorite customers was I believe he might have even been the world's first thalidomide baby.
Mm-hmm.
So he was born without arms. Very, very intelligent man, runs his own recording studio. Used to have a backhoe company, like earthworks and stuff, and he'd operate the machinery himself.
Mm-hmm.
Used to drive around in a big old red F100 Ford truck. Now gets around in this zippy little Mercedes sports car thing, all rigged out to be, driven with his feet.
Yeah.
And he's always got dirty jokes and stuff as well. But yeah, he was always good fun too, because you'd carry his basket around and get the stuff that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Get a good chat in and do your good deed for the day. Yeah, he was always fun to help. I think that was the point of that little anecdote. Oh, g'day, Aubrey. How's it going? Fire did not work. I'll have to go again. IT taught my daughter cursive to help with her dysgraphia. I don't know what dysgraphia is. Is it like the writing version of dyslexia?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Dysgraphia is self-right, I believe. Latin, right?
Self-right.
Dysgraphia is derivative of Latin, I believe, right?
Yes.
Self-right. Yep. It's common among individuals with ADHD. Learn more about dysgraphia, signs, symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment here.
But what do they say it is?
Yeah, it's like it's ADHD version of writing. Yeah, it's like,
So you're just all over the shop.
yeah, you're just it's estimated that 5 to 20% of all children have some type of writing deficit like dysgraphia. 5 to 20 is a pretty wide variance there. Do we call it 12.5? Do we just say it's 12%, 13%? Let's say it's 13%.
Who was I listening to yesterday? Bill Burr. And he was reading one of his ad reads.
Mm-hmm.
And it was they used 42% and almost half in the same sentence,
Right.
referring to a percentage of something or other.
Right.
Bill lost his crap because he's going 42% is not nearly half. Think about money. If you owed someone $50 and you gave them 42 back and said that's almost it, they're going to complain. It's fair enough.
I mean, it's technically much closer than zero.
Technically, yes. But, let's say almost half should be minimum 45 or 55. A lot closer.
I see what you mean. But, like, you also got to calculate in the projected error, right? So it's like 5 to 20%. So it could be 20% or it could be 5%. Right? Because if it's 20%, that's 1/5, right? Well, a fifth of people, 1 out of 5. But if it's 5%, that's only what is that? 1 out of 20?
20. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, which is a big difference because you got 20 people in a room. You got a weird night on your hands. You got 5 people in your room. It could just be dinner time. I actually had to get a pornographer's license. What was I trying to say there? Pornographer's license to work there because we
pornographer
would print nudity. Worked at a 1-hour photo in Lake Havasu. Oh yeah, I remember people that worked those 1-hour photos having a lot of weird stories about the stuff.
I was one of those too.
Yeah. Did you work at one of those?
Yeah, when I was in high school, but mine was a like a photo lab as well as a music store.
Uh-huh.
And we sold blank tapes as well. So when I'd go in and do my Saturday morning shift, I'd put a couple of CDs on and record them down to tapes that I'd buy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you're printing out the photos, because it was all just done on one of those big automatic machines, and once you've loaded up your negatives and whatnot, you can select which ones were for double prints and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you found someone's picture that you liked, you could do a reprint of it and steal it.
Throw an extra print out there for you. Yeah,
and I mean, granted, I did see quite a lot of interesting pictures as well by people, and it was always fun when you had someone's roll of film come through. And, it might not necessarily have all been rude pictures. There might have just been 1 or 3 thrown through a roll of 36 or something. And so,
yeah, the first half is like pictures at the park, and then chaos, and then you know, like, oh, there's a picture of the Ferris wheel, and then it's like, oh, a picture of a boat going around, and then it's like, oh, there's a dong just thrown in. Okay, all right.
So yeah, when they'd come back in to collect your photos, it was always fun. Collect their photos, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, you'd lay them out on the bench and start fanning through them for them, making sure that they were satisfied with the prints. And you'd always make sure that the rude ones went on top first. You'd
Oh yeah.
flick through them until you get to them, just so you could gauge that face reaction and stuff.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I was only 17 at the time too, I think. So it was pretty crafty for a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine a lot of hijinks could have come up.
Plus all that free illegal music I got was very handy.
Well, I'm all for that. Yeah, that's to me is probably more important than some, out of focus nudes of, middle-aged people doing the deed.
I think it was much more important to me at the time.
The music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was pornography everywhere. You didn't need to see, grotty people's home porn of not very nice stuff.
These people were not attending the gymnasium previous to their extravaganza.
Yeah, and plus this is, back in the what would have been the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Very arty community around here, so lots of interesting conceptual work going on, which didn't necessarily translate to this stuff will make me horny material.
Right.
But good times.
Yes, good times were had. Good times were had by all.
I mean, there was probably more fun photos developed that weren't nude and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you get a little peek into people's private lives. It's weird. A little bit voyeuristic in its own without worrying about nudity and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Wild stuff, bro. These people's is tripping. I'm telling you. The hell is this? Oh, okay. All right. Well, what have you been up to this week? What have you been doing? Hot weather or what?
The hot weather only started yesterday, really.
Mm.
I mean, it was hot last Wednesday, I think I recall, when we did this stream, or Tuesday night for you people. And then we had boatloads of rain. We had a flood threatening on, when was that? Sunday night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Saturday night. There was just stacks and stacks of rain. The creek was coming up very fast. So I had a bunch of extra cars in the driveway because the boys didn't want to lose cars again. But yeah, the next day the rain eased off quite a bit and the creek dropped down quite a bit. And then the following day, bright and sunny. And of course, because the ground was so wet, incredibly humid.
Right.
And that's still going on now. Very, very humid. Makes the magic mushrooms out in the paddock grow extra big, though, in this heat and humidity. The boys are continuing to get hefty loads of them every other day.
It's that time. Yeah, because it's yours. You're going into spring, aren't you?
We're into spring, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is bloody midsummer weather, not spring weather. And there's just a breeze that tickles every once in a while, and then it just drops and it just becomes still and gross again. So yeah, I'll have to get myself a fan for out here. I've got one up on the wall, but that thing's useless and makes so much noise.
It says it's only 84 there right now. 29 Celsius, that's all?
Yeah, it probably sounds right, but it'd be one of those feels like 34 or some nonsense like that. Can't find my weather. There it is. Yeah, mine says 29 as well. Doesn't give me a feels like on this weather app. I know, there it is. Feels like 29 and humidity only 43. Wow.
Yes, this year humidity is only 45%. So
maybe
I don't know.
It's that transition period that because we're not used to it,
yeah,
we're going to make it seem like
it's just new to you. You're like, oh man, I got that winter bod going. I'm gonna get that summer bod. Gonna thin out your blood.
Yeah,
right?
So yeah, a couple of weeks of this and I'll be conditioned enough to it before I've got to complain about the actual summer temperatures.
Right.
Yeah, they reckon we got a heap more rain coming anyway, so more floods and stuff. But I guess after our last floods earlier in the year, they probably like to prepare people with the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Huawei was asking if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I was just late. I had the girls were going a little. They were going a little extracurricular tonight. It's weird.
Slumber party mode.
No, that's only on Friday, and that's a nightmare. Every Friday.
Your live stream yesterday had a very interesting title. I did not have the opportunity to watch it yet.
Yeah, well, you should have watched it.
Do you want to talk about it, or do we just encourage people to go and watch it? And
well, you could go watch. You could go watch that one. You could go watch it. I mean, it's fairly in depth on there. So Vicky's diagnosed with breast cancer is the short of it.
Dang, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not good.
But it's a early diagnosis.
Huh?
Have they diagnosed early? Do they tell you that we think we've got it in time and get the ball rolling on therapies and whatnot?
No. So, it's basically it's surgery is the easy way to explain it right now. Invasive surgery, and then go from there. There's another surgery. Either way, there's surgery. There's no not surgery. So, the surgery's not off the table. There's no treatment that doesn't involve mass removal of
tissue,
flesh, like
my mum went through it 20 years ago.
There is going to be a big surgery, period. So regardless of whatever that surgery is, there will be one. So basically it boils down to, you could do a lumpectomy, but so here's the issue. Like, she has biopsy diagnosed. They've identified the cancer on one side, and then the other side they're not sure yet because they only biopsy one side once they sort of verify what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side has shadowing too, but they just shadow where's the most likely to, or they biopsy where's the most likely to get biopsied tissue, right? A sample, right? And so the other side has similar characteristics, but not. But they don't care about that because they're like, either way, we have to go through all this like MRI imaging and all this stuff. So they're like, they'll find out when the MRI stuff happens, right? Because it's pretty extensive how they do it. It's kind of interesting. I was looking it up online, and they like have this thing where they stick your boobs through and then they MRI through. It's wild. kind of, we can't show it on here, obviously, but it's worth it's worth a gander at some point of going like, huh, really? Okay. But regardless, there's going to be a major surgery, whether we like it or not. The question of that boils down to if you want to do like radiation and hormone therapy, right? So they may still do radiation even if they do like a full mastectomies, right? But you wouldn't do hormonal stuff if you do the full mastectomies, right? So the hormonal treatment is like at minimum like 5 years, right? And it's sort of 5 years of it slams you into menopause and like it sort of puts you in a pretty rough situation for somebody that's like Vicky's age.
Yeah, sure.
You know, because like if you're an older gal who's like 70 or something, you've been menopausal for a long time and you're likely
well on the other side of it.
You're well on the other side of like your life and probably retire, you know, like you don't, you know what I mean? You don't have a 4-year-old kid at home kind of crap. So that while that hormonal therapy is obviously like pretty rough, I think it's a little bit easier on somebody who's in that age range. I do know from personal experience, my last partner had breast cancer, and we went through a lumpectomy, then another lumpectomy, then she got bilateral mastectomies with the hormone treatment and all that kind of stuff, and it did not go well. Like that whole situation from a personal standpoint did not end up going well. Like it was it was extraordinarily difficult. And you know, so we'll see what the doctors say, but I think it's probably trying to avoid the hormonal therapy is probably the direction. Though I can't verify that right now. I don't know, but it seems like probably the way to go. Yeah. Because there's just like a whole lot to deal with that, because you just sort of know you're going to have 5 years of pretty wild like mood swings and side effects and all that kind of stuff. And I just, you know, I don't know how well the outcome would be there, you know, with having work, having a kid and all that. So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes out.
Yeah. It's pretty much what you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just stay cool, because stress doesn't like cancer, or cancer likes stress. Who can tell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me, I got like a catch in my throat and I don't know where my water is. It's somewhere, I'll find it.
A bit of both of us today then.
What's that?
We've both got the catch in the throat.
Yeah.
I just keep smoking ciggies to try and fix mine. It seems logical. Yeah, no, my mum beat hers. She had a large amount of tissue removed from one side. The other side remained untouched. And yeah, I think there's pretty rad success rate with it nowadays, isn't there? As long as it gets caught early enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, we wish you all the best, and Vicky as well. I'm sure she'll appreciate to know that we're all thinking of her, and you, and Olivia as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a weird position, because it's like, you know, I don't want to talk about my ex with Vicky, you know, because obviously like nobody likes that, right? Like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
even if it's a fun reference, no one likes it.
Let's sit around and talk about our exes. That'd be great, right? That's pretty silly, right? So
Yeah.
nobody likes that, but obviously I have to like kind of
Reference
pull.
point.
Yeah, I have to kind of pull from like, yeah, that happened. Yeah. Um. Also, it's like it brings up a lot of weird emotions too, right? You know. So I don't know. It's a weird situation, and it kind of sucks. I mean, there's just no way to put it. And I mean, the expectation is that the outcome will be pretty good, but any surgery is dangerous. Um, there's no guarantee that what they do works or doesn't work, or works or doesn't work, or you just gotta be kind of a useless dude and just hope for the best, right? You know.
Yeah, and just I guess understand that that's all you can do as the dude.
As the
Just be
dude,
an
just try to
understanding dude.
be
Be
supportive
there.
and do the thing. Yeah. So, just be supportive and do the dude stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do the dude stuff that you can, whatever it is, whatever that is. So,
Well, at least you know you can do that because that's the kind of dude you are.
yeah, it's true.
So humble as well.
This week, I've got some exciting news for you.
This week, are
This week,
you gonna tell us now or at some stage through the week?
God, I'm going to tell you now.
I'm gonna have to
I mean,
brace.
do you got
Rig
your
the
pants
main
on?
brace.
Oh man, are you ready?
No, I'm gonna have to fill up a drink.
Okay, you better get ready. You better get ready for this news.
Actually, I'll go the other way first.
Thanks for all the well wishing, guys. I definitely appreciate it. I really do.
What do you really do?
I appreciate everybody's well wishings, including yours, but not limited to yours. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. The main reason I stood up was just to prove that I had pants on.
You hope Olivia stays strong through this. I don't know how Olivia's gonna deal with it. She's pretty young. She's very observant. She's pretty smart. She'll know that mom's hurting, but um, we'll make do with what we can. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, the extended family is going to be helping out as much as they can, so that'll be pretty big. I think it'll be pretty. I think it. Well, I think it'll be roughest on Vicky. Obviously, right? But the point that I was going for was, I think the hardest part will be Vicky in recovery, not
Having
overdoing it.
independence.
Yeah, that'll be rough on her, big time. Because there's like 2 weeks where you basically are like, you're in bed, you can't pick anything up. You have to get up and like just walk around, shuffle around, kind of deal. My recollection has a lot to do with you're not really able to wipe yourself, that kind of stuff. So I don't know how she's gonna fare with that whole situation. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think that my mom will be here a lot. Is my guess. And my mom's 47 years. She was a charge nurse in the hospital, so
Good person to have around.
it's a good person to have around. Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyhow,
my teary eye is completely from empathy, not from plucking nostril hairs at all. I guarantee.
you look
I
sad.
promise.
You're all sad. So the news for this week, though, the good news. Now that you have your
Oh,
pants
that's
on,
solid advice from Alyssa too. Get a bidet, or at least one of those tushy things.
yeah. I mean, I guess I could get a bidet. It could be done.
It's more preferable than the garden hose into the shower recess from outside.
What's that?
Like having a proper dedicated hose for that kind of behaviour is better than reeling in your long garden hose from out in the backyard through the house and into the bathroom to do that.
I think it's better to just spray through the window.
Oh yeah, good thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Righto, let's get on to your news before we start talking about shit.
Yeah. But it is the bidet is a good idea. Yeah, I'll probably do that. But I'm gonna put it in my bathroom out here, the one that's furthest away. Make her walk. So the good news this week, though, is those trees, those damn trees I've been telling you about. They're coming down. Those trees only have 2 more days on this planet.
What sort of trees were they?
They're the big Douglas fir trees.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Which are wonderful trees. I mean, don't get me wrong. But they don't have a lot of character. Douglas fir doesn't have a lot of character. They just go up, you know.
You can't grow a lot of stuff underneath them either.
No, they shade out real strong.
And all the needles and shit they drop on the ground don't make for good topsoil.
No, the dead tree does though. So
yeah,
that works. So those trees are coming down. They're getting bucked into logs, my guy. I'm getting everything that's lumber size cut into a log, stacked over there. And then Saturday, my guy, it's lumber milling time.
Are you keeping it for your own use? Or are you going to... Yeah, good. Yeah, it seems silly not to if you can.
What am I gonna give my lumber to these? I don't have a better word. These cunts out here.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to be saying. Is that obviously it is sensible while lumber's so expensive.
Yeah.
As long as you've got a place to cure it, because pine needs a good 12 months to cure, doesn't it?
It does, but a lot of it I'm going to be using it for outdoor building, so it doesn't really matter.
It can cure in place.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it'll dry out, and really none of it I'm going to be using for real finish work, right? I'm not going to construct I'm not going to frame a building with it. I'm going to make a greenhouse with the big timbers. I'm going to make a chicken coop, like a proper chicken coop. Make posts for the runs, the rails, make the siding.
So they don't even have to be smooth, do they? They can just be a rough finish and they'll be adequate.
Yeah, I mean, nice rough sawn, that nice rough sawn look. Although they will be milled, so they won't be super rough. But yeah, so I don't know. It's pretty exciting for me to get these trees down, because that's the next step to building the shop, right? Is to get the trees out, because the trees are in the way of all that. So
do they bring all of the milling equipment when they come to fell the trees?
Well, it's different groups of people.
Ah, right.
So I had to hire the tree feller guys. The guys that bring the trees down, they're real specialists for operating around houses and stuff. You can't just drop a tree.
Well, hang on. This reminds me of a very, very fantastic Irish joke. Paddy and Mick were in the employment office, and there was a sign in the window that said, "Tree fellas required." And Paddy says to Mick, "What a shame, there's only two of us."
There's only two.
Back to you.
It's a good one. So the guys that bring the trees down, they have to do a lot of climbing, rigging, dropping all that stuff, and then they're going to chip and grind everything that's undersized, right? So all the branches, all the debris, all that crap's going to get chipped. He estimates about 30 yards. I guess you probably don't know what a yard is, but
90 centimeters, 91 centimeters, roughly.
Well, a yard is so basically go 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter cube. Right.
Oh, right. Okay, right.
Yeah. That's basically a yard. And
so they're talking,
considering considering how they estimate a yard, it's probably exactly the same. So he estimates about 30 yards of that. I think we're going to keep 10 of it. The other 20 is going off to other people that need chip mulch, that kind of crap. Then everything that's under 8 inches in diameter will get cut into firewood rounds and stacked out front. And then people will come pick it up and take it away so they can burn it in their fireplace or whatever. And then it's a different guy I hired who has a mill. You know, he has his own mill on a big trailer.
Yeah, right.
So he's going to drive that out Saturday morning. And then we'll just be running the mill all day. I had to hire a guy to come help too, because I figured it was best to hire a guy than to just us two try to do it and then be like, we're one guy short. I'll make phone calls, right? The way I see it, it's like, might as well spend the extra couple $100, hire somebody.
Smooth the operation.
Smoother operation, an extra pair of hands. And so the guy with the mill, he's probably like mid 60s at least, and I'm getting to my mid 40s. So I hired a guy who was like 23.
Sensible.
We need the invincible young man,
That seems like a portable bloody sawmill that's transportable. I guess that's pretty much the definition of portable, isn't it? Would be a license to print money. Pretty much. The work would be non-stop, I would imagine.
So this guy used to do it as his full-time. That was his thing, right? Now he does it sort of as a older, I'll do it whenever I want, kind of
beer money.
He's at that sort of retirement, beer money kind of situation, or he just likes doing it, right? And so, pretty reasonable rate to hire him to come out and all that. And so, but it, it should be good, man. I mean, it's a ton of wood, literally, not even kidding. But really, when you get down to it, it's like, well, that's the thing. It's like if I order the wood for the chicken coop, the lumber to build it, and the chicken run, with all the fencing and stuff, it's easy $1,500, $2,000, right? Worth of lumber and screws and all that jazz. And then I have to build a bunch of raised garden beds like my old house had. I'm going to build a bunch of those. I'm going to use this lumber to do it. And if you're talking about, 12 foot, I don't even know how much those are right now. Let's see. 12 foot, 2 by 12 probably is what I would probably make them out of. How much are those running right now? So each one of those, like non-pressure treated right now, are $45. So a 2 by 12 that's 12 foot is $45 right now.
That's bloody wild. 12
Yeah,
foot
and I
long.
mean it's not. I mean, admittedly, that price has actually come down from where it
Yeah,
was.
those bloody COVID
Um,
prices were ridiculous.
Yeah, and so here's a 4x4. So let's see, a 4x4 pressure treat for in ground is $28. 4x6 by 10 foot. So 4x4 inch by 6 inch, 10 foot long, $45. So every time we make one of those, it's $45, $45, $45, $45, right? So you start to rattle up to these numbers where you go like, well, it's worth it to bring these trees down, because even though because I think it was 3,500 to get the trees down on the ground, right? Um, so I think 3,800 is what it was to get the trees down, to get everything mulched up, to get all that firewood cut. We're not keeping any of the firewood. We have a fireplace here, but
But
we're not going to
are you
use it.
selling the firewood or just giving it?
Generally, just kind of giving it away because it's not split, it's not dried. So, yeah, people want it, but they want it so that they can go split it
Yeah.
and stack it and then
For
burn
their
it next
size.
year.
Yeah, sure.
Because right now I think a cord is running like a cord of firewood. Right now it's I think about like $250, maybe $300.
What's the official weight of a cord?
So a cord is like a full pickup truck bed, basically, is the easy way.
So maybe
So like
half a ton.
your buddy's F100, the no armed guy. So like that full of firewood, like stacked up, is like a cord, basically.
That could almost get to a ton. Probably more,
Yeah,
half a ton.
Yeah, probably half ton, something like that. So the official dimensions of a cord is 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot. So you think 8 feet long, 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, right? Gives you an idea.
That'd be a good
What a
size for a
cord
fish
is.
tank, wouldn't it?
That'd be a big fish tank. What would that be? 1,000 gallons.
There's one around a town 20 minutes north of here. There was this dude trying to sell this tank for so long, and it was 1 meter by 1 meter, and I believe it was 4 meters long. It was a huge thing, but obviously you'd need a flatbed truck to move it and probably a team of 10 or 15 people. But he didn't want much money for it. But it was going to cost $1,000 or more to get it moved, let alone what the tank was going to cost. Plus, what are you going to do with a tank that big?
How big was it?
1 meter by 1 meter, so 1 meter high and 1 meter front to back, and then 4 meters long.
Yeah, so let's see, 12 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, right? 3 by 3 by 12.
That's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 1,000 gallons, right around there. Maybe 800 gallon. Yeah, something like that.
I'd love to have at least initiated communication with that seller to find out what it was actually used for, or if it was just one of those things that he stumbled across, picked it up, took it home, and then never used it.
Normally, people that have big tanks like that are broke down, they were like a big fan of it a long time ago, and then for some reason they took the tank, they took whatever was in it out, and then just like set it aside. Like I'm going to.
I'll come back to that.
I'm coming back to it, and then they don't. They invariably don't, and then it's like, can somebody just come get this? I'm too old to deal with this crap. That's generally the story every time I've encountered that. I've got this giant tank. I emptied it 10 years ago and never came back to it, and now it's just in the way, and my wife hates that it's occupying all this space, and it doesn't even have a fish in it. Because their wife probably didn't even like it before when it had fish in it, right? That's a reality.
So it'll be a fun experiment once you've got all of your milled timber or lumber. Sorry, you call it lumber, we call it timber.
I would call it timber. That's fine.
To do a comparison price wise to see how much money you saved yourself compared to buying that wood retail.
Well, the way that I look at it is this: we had to pay to get those trees down
Because that's where you want to put it as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Those trees those trees just have to come down. I mean, they're not unhealthy, but they're in a position where, a really windy, a real strong storm come through. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them blew over, right? And if that was to happen, there's so much. They're in a spot where it would be like there would be so much damage. It would be
devastation.
Such a bummer, right? Like if it blew that way, our neighbor's house would be screwed. If it blew this way, our house would be screwed. There's like basically zero chance it blows a direction where something wouldn't be seriously screwed, right? Like there'd be a whole lot of to do about that damn tree having come down. And the way that they're planted, they're just planted in a row, which is not good for. Well, it's not good for any tree, realistically, but especially not good for fir type trees because. Do you guys have Douglas fir down there?
Probably. We have a lot of conifers and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So you're pretty familiar with a tree that keeps its needles throughout the year, right? So
I thought. Oh well, to be honest, I did. That's what I was saying before about the shit that they drop. I thought the Douglas fir was a shedder of its needles.
They just shed year round.
Oh yeah,
it's just little bit by little bit. Yeah, well, it's little bit by little bit, and then when you go out there 3 years later, you're like, "What the? Look at this! What is this? What's this?
Doesn't anyone rake around here?
Yeah, what the fuck? Does anybody have a leaf blower?"
But that did you say that where they are is where you want to put your outhouse or your outbuilding, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah. We want to put the shop there, so they'd have to come down anyhow.
So does that also mean that you'll have to get the stump grinding done, or are you just going to put a foundation over top of the stumps?
The stumps are going to have to come out, and I'll make a video. I'll make a video about like how I'm going about doing that. Probably as the follow-up to the trees coming down and the milling. I'm going to make a video about the milling and stuff because I'm sure it's going to be hijinks. It's going to be hijinks aplenty. I'm pretty sure.
I find there's not many more satisfying things on the planet than cutting wood up with some kind of machinery.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like it smells great. It's impressive. People are like,
it's meditative.
Oh my God, they're cutting their own wood. Oh my. People be freaking on that one. So I think it'll be a good video. It'll be pretty fun. And then it's a shitload of timber. Like I said, the guy Kevin who's coming, he hasn't looked at the trees himself. I've just given him kind of the measurements from the other tree guy who's bringing them down. And he's like, don't underestimate how much lumber this is actually going to be. It's quite a bit. You're going to have a lot. It's going to be a gigantic pile of lumber, really, when we're done. So, which is good. Realistically, that's a good thing.
What a terrible problem to have.
Right. Too much lumber to build things with. Like, dang.
Well, I might have some leftovers.
Yeah. I know you have leftovers. It's like, well, somebody will come buy it,
or you'll generate 74 other ideas.
That's the thing. I'll just be building more stuff. It's like, oh shit, I got more wood. I'm gonna keep building crap. So it'll be quite a bit of wood. So my plan is to get those raised garden beds built. Because those can just be built with like wet lumber, so I can start that a month from now. no big deal. I can do that whenever, right? Then we have this pergola area. Are you familiar with a freestanding pergola? We have that going on.
To this day, I'm still not sure if you say the word like that, just because I find it incredibly humorous when it's said like that.
Well, I say it pergola.
Yeah, but we call them pergolas, but that's
Pergolas?
because that's how you have to say words with an Australian accent.
Right. Where'd the
Pergola,
R go? There's an R in there. Pergola.
pergola,
Pergola.
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 Yeah, it is kind of
Yeah, it's a weird one.
suggestive
But
that we do drop the R.
we have one of those that was sort of, it was built by somebody who knew kind of what they were doing, but not a
Not at expert
substantial
level.
enough, not substantial enough knowledge to get paid for doing the job, I guess would be the way to put it. But I want to rebuild that. I'm going to build a fire pit under it, with a picnic table over the top. So that'll be an interesting project. I think people will like that. And then the chicken coop and the chicken run, get that built, and then hopefully there's
Not to
enough
be confused with the aquarium coop.
Not to be confused, no. And then hopefully there's enough timber left to do the greenhouse that Vicky wants. So if I can do all that stuff with this lumber, that's easily $5,000 worth of material lumber wise. Realistically, I mean, somebody might be like, that's only 3,200. It's like, well, the trees were coming down anyhow. And I didn't have to buy lumber to do all these projects. Right. So,
Make hay while the sun shines.
yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of a win-win. The trees were coming down and we could have paid and got nothing for it and then just bought lumber. We're just going to avoid the buying lumber part. Right. So, it should be good.
Gets the money instead.
What's that?
I said someone else gets the money instead.
Right. I mean, we have better places to spend our money than paying those guys for lumber,
So those your Douglas firs, they have a considerable spread, yeah? Do yours got the big spread at the base and stuff? So
yeah. At the base, everybody trims the bottom limbs
to like head height or something, so you can walk around under
head
them.
height. Generally a little higher than that, because their bottom branches will have a big dip. So you probably go up to about 15 feet and trim all the branches off. These are like that. Somebody gets a hair up their ass and they cut those branches, and then especially if you cut them early enough, the tree continues to grow up and it doesn't add more branches down below, right? They never sprout down here. They're always sprouting up at the top. So, like I said, there's so many reasons to bring these trees down. There's just no reason not to. That's kind of really what it boils down to. So we'll get that. And then as far as the stumps go, I'm going to be drilling like really deep, big holes into the stumps and then packing them with Epsom salt. What the Epsom salt does is it starts to break down essentially the cellulose, the cellulose the barrier of the cellulose wall or whatever. Either way, the Epsom salt reacts with the wood. It kills the root base. It kills the root itself, and then exsanguinates it actually and starts to dry it out. And then it takes about 6 months, but you pack a lot of Epsom salt in there. It dries them out. It dries out all the little tiny roots that are attached to the root. So it's like you have the big root that you got to get out. But one of the reasons it's so hard to pull those big roots out is that they have a million tiny little roots
follicles
going on them. But if you can dry them out with the Epsom salt, it'll kill off all those little roots too. So when it comes time to cut and get the stump out of the ground, it's much easier as opposed to paying a stump grinder, which all a stump grinder does is they're just grinding on it until they think they get deep enough that you don't care anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
and you could still end up with epicormic shoots and whatnot.
Right. And it's not great to pour a foundation on that. So the big issue is that you come to pour a concrete slab, you're going to need to get those out of the area that they're in, regardless. It would be a real hack to pour a slab over, dead stumps in the ground, because that stump will eventually die and rot down. Which actually I have one back here that I'll include in the video of like what happens when those stumps actually die and dry out. They leave a big void in the ground, right? And if you have a concrete slab sitting over that, well, water starts to accumulate. Water starts to accumulate, then the water drains, then water accumulates, then water drains. Eventually you get a big giant void under there. And, as I think most people can understand, concrete's pretty tough. But when it's hanging over an open void, eventually, you get cave in and crack through and that kind of stuff, and it's not good. And then your whole building is effed. Somebody's got to come in with a hot saw and chop that whole part out. You got to cut that whole part out. Then you got to go into the ground and dig out whatever's down there, backfill it in. Refill it, pack it with rock, put the rebar in, pour new concrete there. And it will always look fucked up. It will never look right. It just never will. It might be a surface that you will be able to deal with, but it'll never look right. And my plan is like when we build the shop out there is to have concrete floor on the bottom floor. That's just like nice smooth concrete, like a garage. It's just that lightly polished concrete. To have that as the main floor down there, because that's where the eventual big fish room will go. And then where I'm building the fish room right now will turn into my wood shop in the garage that exists right now. We have a 3-car garage. That's how long it is. That's attached to the house right now, where my studio and my little fish room will go into that room. And then eventually that will become my little wood shop. So
I've got a 3-car garage here too, and I can barely fit 1 car in it.
Really?
Can I also say that exsanguinate is one of my favorite words of all time?
Well, there you go.
I first came into contact with exsanguinate through lyrics by the band called Carcass.
Oh yeah, there you go.
They had before their many multi-acclaimed album Heartwork, they had another album out which was before they changed their sound, and it was as medical terminology filled death metal as you could probably imagine. The words and the lyrics that guy chose to write.
Yeah,
awesome band.
Hey, so here's a question I have for you. You're still only at 754 subscribers.
Oh, 754. That's funny. I looked the other day, because I got a new subscriber the other day. I got a notification for it, and I went on, and it's like 751. I was like, well, someone had to leave to let this person in, because to me it's been 751 for so long.
Well, what's the deal? Are people sharing, and are they replay team sixing? Are they doing it correctly? I mean, they got to share this out. I mean, somebody's got to make some clips. Did anybody make any clips? Can you? Oh, I don't even think your channel has the clips option.
What's the clips?
You can cut clips of a live stream and make a short video out of it. Or if we said something like insane and they're like, oh man, we got to get them.
Yeah, no, I used to make best ofs, but they were so time consuming. I like the sound of this clips idea better.
So like my live stream, it has the pair of scissors icon underneath it, and you can click on that and then highlight the section that you want, and you can cut the clip out of it as just a viewer. and then you can share the clip like via your whatever you want to
yeah.
share it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that. That's a good concept. I might have to mess around with that. Because my version of that was previously was after we'd do a show, and then I'd go back into the description and I'd write featuring such classics as the Walmart story or the water heater story, whatever it was. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've only done that 2 or 3 times because even that seemed like too much effort. Hello, Scourge Princess. We can't see you. You're off this camera. There she is a bit.
Sarah's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, we all know she loves being on the camera.
The spotlight.
It's my favorite. My favorite place to be.
How are you, love? Long time no see.
I know, it's been ages.
Is that sarcasm?
Right.
I don't know. Is it true?
Yeah, Sarah was here just before
really?
we started this stream, but
Earlier today.
we were trying to exercise time management. Well, Sarah was trying to exercise time management and work out how to better run her afternoon. So she decided to not appear here for a little while first and then disappear and then come back on, but to disappear and then come on while she's there.
That makes sense.
It's
Plus-
worked.
You know, I was hungry. I had to get something to eat. Hang on. I'm going to try and turn this like around.
There is no try. There is only do.
That's true.
But like, it's not true. You can totally try and fail. You can
But
put
did
in
you?
lots of effort and not succeed. Well, I didn't fail. I turned it around.
Well, I think the only thing that we can garner from that statement is that Yoda is the eternal optimist.
Sure.
Well, the 900 or so years optimist. I nearly said Optimus Prime then. That's a different franchise, Michael. Well, that's nice. Who's that? I've got to identify that bird. I know that call, but I can't remember the name.
I've just seen myself in the thing, and I look like as tired as I feel. So there's something really refreshing actually about that.
My screen, it's hard to tell how tired you are because of your interesting lighting coming through your window.
Yeah, well, I do. I've got the sun shining right at me through the window. It might be. I mean, I do have a blind there, but I would like the air to come in because it's gross and hot.
Jeez, we've had that discussion on the stream today.
You got the gross hot over there too?
Yeah, it's so gross.
They're not far enough away. You have to go farther up into the mountains
I'm in the mountains.
where the air is clear, way up.
Well, where I should probably be is in the creek, and then I would not be feeling gross at all. Would be feeling lush and cool.
That's a good point. The creek would work. I was gonna ask, is the beach good? How you guys because I know Australia is like known for. I know that you guys are like known for beaches, which is fine. But that's the question: do you guys have hot beaches, or do you have like cool breezes while it's hot coming off of the ocean?
I guess it depends, because sometimes it's just hot and burning and still. You don't get a lot of shade, like, because you've got usually a big stretch of sand between where you've got nice trees and stuff and when you get to the water. But sometimes you'll have like really windy at the beach and you'll be getting sort of blown. It can be dangerous because if it's a strong wind, it sort of like cools you down enough that you don't notice how sunburned you're getting.
True. You're getting lightly sandblasted by hot sand.
But it's nice. I mean, it is nice. And the last house I lived at was really close to a really nice beach. And, I think like early in the morning and late in the afternoon is kind of nice times to enjoy the beach.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, the beach can get fucked. It is salty and sandy and burning.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not
like,
a huge fan of like just going down to the beach all day. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but I'm like, I don't know. Could we go to a lake? We could go to a
Yeah.
lake. That's good. You know.
well, that's what I reckon. Fresh water and somewhere where you've got shade. Like that's why I like the creek, because it's got fresh water
And shade.
and shade. And so you can be in the water and you can be in the shade and you can actually spend all day there.
Well, you
And
guys don't have that like frosty ass runoff water, do you?
yeah.
You do?
So it depends where you go to swim.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, it'll be coming up like out of a spring, out of the earth. So even in the middle of summer, that water is icy cold. Like not icy, like it's not got ice. It's not actually icy, but it's cold. The water's
Colder
cold.
than you expect.
Other
we have
places.
we have the glacier melt rivers. I tell you, that's a
special kind
rude
of cold.
awakening. It's a rude awakening. I'm telling you, it's like, to be like, so May, like late May is our like spring transitioning into summer time. And you might get a day that's like as hot as your day today, right? 85, 90 degrees. And so you go out like, yeah, let's go down to the river, man. It'll be dope. You go down there and it's still snow melt, man. It's like this water was snow like 15 minutes ago, man, it's like a frosty glass of ice water cold, and it'll get your it'll give you a rude awakening, I guess is the way to put it. Put your cockles where they weren't supposed to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think sand is the big negative with beaches and stuff. It's such an annoying.
It's just a pile of sand dune near some water.
And then
I'd rather walk over 500 meters of knobbly rocks and stuff to get to some nice water than 20 meters of burning hot sand that's going to get up your clacker and whatnot.
I just find that the how exposed you are is what I don't like, rather than just the sand. But yeah, it sounds pretty awful. But also, you never know at the beach. Like some days you'll go there and there will be like blue bottles or,
Sharks
and stuff like that.
Sea lions, did you say? Or sea life?
Sea lice, which aren't really lice.
Right.
It's like, what is it? Like little parts of a plant that's broken off, but it all stings on your skin.
Is it? I just always assumed they were some kind of small crustacean, like lawn prawns.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought that too, especially since everyone calls it sea lice. But I remember hearing something recently, like it's not even actually a creature; it's bits of stuff.
It's just bits of stuff.
Bits of stuff.
It's just chaos.
That's a scientific description, by the way.
It's just bits of stuff, stuff and junk things,
Sea lice, singular sea louse, are copepods, small crustaceans of the family Caligulae.
Oh, they're copepods. Okay.
They are copepods. They are marine ectoparasites that feed on the mucus, epidermal tissue, and blood of host fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so then maybe that's not what it is when you go to the beach and you get all that stinging in the water, though.
Probably not. Yeah.
A derivative term that people have devised to call that, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Because I did. I was reading something about it at some point.
Yeah, actually, it did remind me too that it's probably some podcast I was listening to, and they had a listener mail, probably stuff you should know, I think, and they were talking about how salmon farms are bad because they farmed salmon harbors a lot of sea lice and stuff, and to excessive amounts, more than that they would in the wild. And then small salmon that get out of the salmon farms then go and transfer the parasites to the wild populations and stuff as well.
Yeah, the farmed salmon is not. It's not great. It's not good. Overall, it's just a bad. It's a bad outcome. It ruins the whole jazz. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of bad, but I guess people eat it. I mean, I don't eat farmed salmon. Shit's garbage.
And there's apparently, they were saying in the same bit something about how there's indigenous North American tribes that are getting financial kickbacks from salmon farms, so that to sort of, I guess, put the nastiness under the rug, they're doing good things for the natives by giving them, income and stuff. But yes, still being bad for the environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad for the environment, but a lot of that stuff is negotiated because they're probably doing it on native waters is probably what it is. Like, they own the fishery area. Well, they own the rights to it. That's probably a lot what it is. It's very, it's interesting because you go like, well, it's a very complex situation. But also at the same time, it's not a very complex situation because a lot of it boils down to. So actually, this channel. Hold on, let me figure out this channel. What's this guy's name? Pete, I think. Pete. Hold on, let me look through my history here. I'll find it. He actually did a really good video. He's been doing a bunch of videos up in Alaska. Here it is. Let me get the link here. Wait, I want to share it. Where's the share button? Yeah, I think I have to click on it to get the share button. There's the share button. So, for anybody that's like trying to understand some Alaska fisheries, like, this is a great video to add into your queue. It's about 45 minutes long. You probably watch it at like 1.5 speed or whatever, but there's some really important things in this video to give context of, like, sort of what's going on in Alaska, how things have gone. He's basically interviewing and like hanging out with a fisherman who's been up there for 50 years fishing, right? Old guy who's native to Alaska. He's lived there. He's a white guy, but he's a native Alaskan. Lived there his whole life and stuff. But there's a very important part of that video where the guy who's lived there is talking about how the fisheries up there and stuff, all of the fishermen and everybody, they're no longer a sort of connected community, even from a commercial standpoint. Because he was saying, he's like, back in the 80s, they set the price because everyone had agreed. All of the fishermen would agree, this is the price we're going to sell our fish for. And that doesn't exist anymore. I'm my own fisherman. I do my own thing. I blah, 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 whatever, da, da, da. And he sort of highlights that, like, the individualism is what has sort of ruined the area up there. Now, I would argue with that guy a little bit just on the standpoint of, like, yes, it probably was more cohesive in the past, but it probably was accessed by less people. So there is a little more equity in the fact that, like, there are different peoples involved in the fishery. But it really does boil down to, like, if you don't have that community support, like, the corporate entities come in and just completely destroy everything to the rule of just extracting money, regardless of what they're doing to the environment, to the people, to the community, any of that kind of stuff. But he also brings up a good point in that video that the natives, right? He refers to the indigenous people, or whatever you want to call them, as the natives, colloquially through the video, because that's how the tribes are referred to in Alaska.
That's
And
how he's grown up calling them.
well, that's what they call them. They don't call them Indians; they call them natives, because some are
That's what they are.
Eskimos, some are they're all just they're the indigenous native people from Alaska, right? They're all different tribes, they're different groups, but he's talking about the town of Cordova, which I've been to, and the native tribe that is there has been basically collecting all of the grants and all of the money that they can via like negotiations with their fishing rights and all that stuff. And he goes, there's so much more development going on because the native tribes are so much more forward thinking than sort of the rest of the town, because the rest of the town is sort of focused on their own thing, right? Every person is like, my house, my family, my this, my that, my da 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 da. Whereas the tribe is going, we need a hospital, we need a better school, we need better services for our people, we need to repair infrastructure and bring things forward into the 21st century, because they are a cohesive group in the fact that, like, the way that tribes are coordinated now is that they make themselves into a corporation, right? So they're a corporation, and then each native member owns a specific amount of shares to how like how native you are, right? So they kind of go by their percentage of blood. Like Vicky owns 30 shares in her corporation that she's in. Her mom owns like 3,000 shares or something like that, right? So, or 300 or 3,000. Now,
Vicky's mum married a whitey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, her Vicky's dad's a white guy. Yeah, I mean he's from Alaska, but he's a white guy. So the way that works though is that they actually go to they do these like sort of corporate meetings. You know, you go to a meeting and everybody votes on like, where are we going to put this money? What should we do? Here's some of the options that we're thinking about. If people agree with these proposals, we'll go move forward with them, and da 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 da. But it really boils down to they're basically voting, right? It's like you're talking about people that are basically just voting on what's going to happen with their small nation, right? And the funny thing is that the old white guy who's lived there forever as a fisherman, and he's doing okay for himself realistically, but even that guy can just straight up acknowledge that like the natives coordinating as a group are improving the area so much better than everybody else has over the 100 years that the city has been there, right? And to me, that was like it's really illuminating, and I really hope that people that watch that video, the guy's got like 1.5 million subscribers or something, so a lot of people are going to watch it. I hope that those types of takeaways are sinking in with people that are sort of stuck in that individual reality, right? That it's just like, it's just me. I don't know. I hope it's things like these, YouTube videos are like exposing people to like, oh wow, we actually really have to do something, as opposed to doing nothing. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And yeah, Alaska is being ruined, slowly but surely, but it's the corporations. Like the corporations just don't care. They come in and they're just extracting money out, and it's what they do. It's what they do everywhere. I mean, It's no different.
Scungy, I'll go back to your sea lice thing where you were saying you thought it was about bits and stuff. There was further in my research, I've discovered that sea lice is often confused for jellyfish or stinger larvae that still have their stinging cells, the nematocysts.
And I feel like at least that sounds more like in line with what the experience of it is. Like I remember from a little kid, people would say, oh, it's sea lice, but it's very much like just a bunch of little stinging things hitting you. It's not like little creatures that are coming and, it's not like mozzies. A mozzie comes and it bites you and now you have an itch here, or, it's like just the whole water's full of little stings.
Right.
So that's more conducive to.
That actually kind of falls in line with exactly what you were describing. So that makes sense. Yeah. Although I will say here, we have the sand fleas is what we call them. And those, come to think of it, those are like big old little copepods that are like all over the beach. But I'll tell you this much, there's nothing more entertaining than having a little daughter who loves turning over rocks and picking up all those little copepods they're going bananas. They're stuck on the beach. They can't get away. And my daughter be collecting like 4,000 of them in a bucket. It's wild.
Huawei wants you to explain, Scungy, what a mozzie is, since you brought it up.
But seriously?
Didn't you? Or did I say it?
No, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
But like everyone knows what mozzies are, don't they? Is that just a joke?
Well, I don't know. It's really hard to tell with Huawei when he's joking or when he's being fair income. He's got that down pat.
Yeah.
Did you, speaking of down pat, did you do drawing today, Scunge Princess?
I did go drawing.
Do you feel up to sharing any of your work with the people today?
I don't know. I'm trying to do some scanning of.
Hang on, I've got to go back. A mozzie is a mosquito. For everyone still asking in the chat.
I typed it in the chat.
Sorry, I thought it was.
I know you did. But yes, Corvus knows at least one Australian slang word, and that's mozzie equals mosquito.
I would have thought that it would have been more commonly used than just us. I know that we're
skeeters. Skeeters. Yeah.
There's that goddamn skeeter over here, man. Yeah.
Anyway, back to talking about drawings and whatnot. What were you saying before I interrupted about mosquitoes?
I was saying that I don't know if I've really got anything to share. I am busily trying to scan some stuff. I have
it's generally been my experience that when you say I don't really have anything to share, then generally anything that you show tends to be quite excellent.
Oh, and you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, if you don't like mosquitoes, beware of Alaska.
Beware of my house too.
Summertime, they're like black clouds, man. They're intense. I've never seen anything like it.
I've been chased by like a swarm of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
There's this path through. It's in a place that's sort of near the beach. Well, it's sort of near the river, but the salty river. And it was like a shortcut that you could go and walk through this path. And I was walking through there, and suddenly it was just thick, and they were landing all over me. And I started to speed up while I was swatting, and they were still just everywhere. And I started to run, which is, it takes a lot to motivate me to start running. And I was running through this path, and still, like, I could, like, looked and I could see, like, just how many there were, and they were all like coming to get me. That's crazy. That's the worst mosquito cloud I've ever been exposed to.
It's brutal.
So if we can allay Michael's disappointment, not this Michael, the other Michael in the chat, you might have to show a picture or two.
Which other Michael is there?
New local Austin.
Okay. Yeah, like I'll show a couple, but the thing is, I'm freaking so tired, and I forced myself to go this morning because I was like, this is my chance. I'm gonna take it. And got up and went, and I figure I just want to get back into the routine of going. But yeah, after not having drawn at all and just been pretty hectic for ages, yeah, it's hard to like get into a flow. I didn't have all my equipment where I wanted it because I just grabbed the box that it was all packed in. Just by the way, I might not be able to sit here long because the sun is like cooking me. But yeah, I'll show like a couple of little bitsy bits. I've got like just little ones. So you don't have to do that. There's not any greater benefit than it just being in this section over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Look at that. And you've got more of my extra space around the outside. Because, yeah, I kept starting and stopping. I don't mind that one a little bit. But none of them were, The other thing that I really do think, and it just can't be improved upon.
Oh, here, mosquito.
Baby.
Yeah, that's what our mosquitoes sound like down here.
Yeah, they're big and bold.
Big and beggy.
It's a very cute sound, though, isn't it?
It's better than baby kookaburras.
Is that not? Are they annoying?
Mikey doesn't like them.
No?
I love them. They're noisy and stupid. Like, they haven't learned anything. And so they're just like talking the whole time about everything. And they're beautiful. And they're there because they're like a big bird. And so they don't really know their body. So they're all awkward and
doofy.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
Yeah. It's one of my least favorite times of year is when the baby kookaburras are learning to sing and call and laugh. Because like Sarah said, they're just always making noises, and they're just annoying noises. But to each his or her own.
As you say.
I'm
trying to time it. Goodness.
Yeah, but it's silly because I get it like right in the little window that I've got, and then you go peek. And they're all just the right size for this little gap.
Righto. I'll leave it then. I'll leave it.
Thank you. That would be good. I did a couple of these little guys. But yeah, I don't feel like anything magical happened, but it just was good to go there. Then I almost fell asleep at the end. I sat down. Mm-hmm. Like I had that feeling, sometimes you're tired and you're sleepy and you like, dozing off, but there's this other kind of tired that I only get when I'm like really, really, really tired. And it's when you're like forcing yourself to be awake, even though you're very tired. So it's not like, oh, I'm sitting down at the end of the day and now I'm nodding off because I'm doing something relaxing. It's like I'm trying to force myself to be fully conscious, and actually I'm really tired. And I start getting like dream brain overlays my normal brain, and everything starts going like swimming in dream brain. I got that once when I was driving. It was quite frightening. I did pull over and have
safe.
It was like Christmas Day, and of course I hadn't slept all of the night before preparing everything for the children, and then having to get up really, really early and then driving to go camping on Christmas Day, and it was just me and one of my kids in the car, and and we're on like the massive highway. I was like genuinely really scared for like, where can I go and pull over, because I'm going to have a car crash. That was fun. But yeah, I had that dreamy brain today. Okay, I was just like forcing myself to still be conscious and do things like a normal person, but I'm very, 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 very freaking tired. Very tired.
Very, very,
Still
very
alive,
freaking
though.
tired.
That's the main thing.
Very, 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 very freaking tired. Yeah.
So you're going to go drawing again next week, and you'll do better, is what you think?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think I have to start going to sleep earlier at night.
Oh, staying up too late?
Well, the thing is, I think I need to be going to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night. But now, like, because we recently came to like daylight savings, so my youngest son is only going to bed close to 9, and then the other one's not going until 10, because they don't just shift. I've got to like gradually try and push them back to going earlier to bed. But it's also hard as it gets warmer and lighter later to get them to go to bed earlier. But because they're still up, like that's my thing, is I have to get all my kids have to be safely in bed before I can consider going off to bed.
Right.
Even asleep. Like, you've got to make sure they're asleep before you go asleep.
Nothing stops till those guys are like, sleeping in their beds. And then it's like, at last I'm free. So
I probably should leave that one on the screen for a little while we're, emphasizing the importance of replay Team 6.
That's true.
And if you are a card-carrying member of Replay Team 6, don't forget to like and share and tell your friends. We love you for that.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that. That's the thing you're supposed to do as a viewer.
It's just assumed that you're doing that on a daily basis.
It's assumed you're doing that, but it's clear you're not, because you're at 754 subscribers. We still haven't even got you over 1,000 yet.
I mean, the people who are watching it live, they've got an excuse because they have to concentrate so hard on the things that we're saying.
That's true.
Replay Team 6, they can push pause and share to their heart's content.
That's right.
I'm totally on a win with catching flies with the bare hand today. Oh, you're still alive. You're going in the spider's web. If I can make it. I've had this beautiful garden orb weaver spider.
Oh, yeah.
Has weaved a beautiful web across the big fish tank behind me. What?
Nothing.
But yeah, it's I've caught like 5 flies already today and thrown them at the spider web. and they've just gone through the web. So
Oh,
this garden orb's got to pick up its game with its weaving abilities. Try again. Finally landed in the web.
did you get it?
Yeah, landed in the web, but I think he's asleep. Doesn't, or she? I think it's a female. Doesn't want to come out and fetch it that way. Oh, where did I have the good photo of it? Text to my son, maybe.
Texting your son.
Oh, I think that's where I've got the best photo of the spider. Was in a text to one of my sons.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Very pretty. And then one of my other sons goes, "Oh, I accidentally destroyed a spider's web like that today. Maybe it moved up to your house." I had to have a little bit of a giggle at that. Yeah, the one you destroyed probably moved 3 meters and built a new nest, a new web.
Yeah,
This one's been
guarantee it.
here for a few days.
I guarantee it.
Where it's built its web is like right where I lean myself in to like put food in and whatnot. So I've taken out a couple of its guy wires. But it keeps fixing them and staying there. So it's obviously getting decent feed out of the tank. The tank lures the bugs in at night with the light and feed on. There's a very pretty garden orb spider, very silvery grey.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of the ones we get are more brown than grey.
Yeah.
Crikey, you do have the sun banging in on that side of the house at this time of day, don't you?
Like, that's a great relief to have that shut, even though even though I want air. I've become very hot sitting here.
What a trade-off. Air.
I am thinking that I 100% need to move my scanner and stuff. Actually, probably everything that's on this table here next to the window needs to go.
Western wall, yeah, not a favourite, not a fan.
It's great in the morning, but it's no good in the afternoon.
Sure, but even in the morning, the other deck out the other side is really nice.
Totally, Vitra. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon, probably in a week, roughly. Yeah, I think most electrical equipment should not be on external walls. It should be on internal walls.
Well, I'm going to move that scanner. That's for sure. It's very hot. But also, it's leaning me towards thinking that when the kids come off the bus, which is probably very shortly, I should go down to the creek.
Yeah, I'm at that 10 o'clock hour for me. I gotta go lay down for a little while.
Yeah, I want to come and experience this creek of yours. I do like a good creek.
There are different spots to go to.
Oh.
I might have to bring a fish trap up and find out what fish wildlife you've got.
Maybe. I know that there was definitely in the spot where I swim, I've seen some sort of like I don't know actually what it is because I sort of thought eels because I think that they're quite long and thin, but quite patterned because the water's really clear and you can see right down, and every now and then I see one of them.
The
Zooming along.
short finned eel is a small eel species that we get, and they're quite speckly.
Yeah,
So they have
so that
a lot of variation in their pattern.
I reckon that sounds like what it will be. Because also we had our first snake, a brown tree snake. So I was happy with that.
Nice.
A brown tree snake.
Again, very patterny, like really reds and yellows. You know, a lot of contrast in it, which is.
There's at least 2, maybe 3 videos on my YouTube channel of brown tree snakes. If people want to see what a brown tree snake looks like, they're definitely a beautiful snake.
Oh, very
and they have a lovely nature as well. They're not, well, I mean, we don't know what they're thinking, but they don't seem to be averse to handling. They calm down quite rapidly. And
is that one on my deck up on your thing?
It certainly is, yes. I think even the thumbnail has one of your son's fingernails in it.
His thumbnail?
And by association, oh yeah, probably his thumbnail might even be in the thumbnail. Well done.
Oh,
I didn't even think of that one. But yeah, that's definitely in there. And then there's a couple from here as well. So yeah, I don't know if GRB and Huawei are probably violently searching for links as we speak. Zuri Bazara. Sorry if I didn't say that right. You're brand new to the channel. I'm not familiar with your name, but yes, they are called a night tiger. They're also called doll's eyes because they have such pretty eyes and big eyes too for a snake of that size. But yeah, it's quite a, when being called the night tiger.
I left my phone outside and I only just saw your message. I'm really hot, so if you want to go swim, we should go do it now. Yeah. So just chuck something on.
Nick. Hey, mate. Yeah. How many different names are you going to come into my channel as, Nick? Goodness. Yes, a brown tree snake is a night tiger. I'm loath to call them a night tiger because I think a lot of older people that I've had discussions with believe that because they're a night tiger that they're a deadly venomous snake. Their venom has been known to have effects on certain people more so than others, but for the most part they're a rear-fanged snake, so they're not they have to do a lot of effort before they get any venom into you. They have to chew on you to get their venom
to bite you.
What's that?
They're not inclined to bite you.
But yeah, it is very rare that they bite. They will strike out and lunge at you, but 9 times out of 10 that's with a closed mouth because they can see that you're too big for access for their rear fangs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just gorgeous, and once they calm down they know you're not there to put your thumb in their bum, in their cloaca or anything, so they get pretty calm pretty quick. As you will see if you check out those videos on my channel, of how easy it was for me, such a rookie, to handle this snake.
Yeah. All right, my yawns are kicking in. I got to go to bed.
All right, mate.
Good night.
Take care. Go good.
Have a good week.
Give our love to Vicky and best wishes and stuff. All the whatever might help.
Will do. All righty. We'll see you next week.
Smooth sailing, hopefully, brother.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
And I'm going to go too. I cannot wait. It's taking all the effort that I have not to already be
Go and get in some water.
disrobing and running off down the deck.
All right, we'll just call it quits here then, shall we? Since we're all going, I've got to go too, by the sounds of things that I'm hearing. So yeah, let's just call it there. Thanks heaps everyone for hanging out. Poor BJ staying up too late. Thanks GRB and Huawei for slinging links. Very disappointed in you, Huawei, that you didn't follow my link and you didn't come up. Whew. But anyway, one day you'll come up. We'll get you up here. Thanks again to Replay Team 6. You know who you are, you bunch of lunatics watching this again and again and again. Well, I guess Sarah's gone. Bye, Sarah. See you next time. And thank you. Just thank you for, I know it was a pretty terrible start. I guess. Oh, hang on. What happened there?
It was an accident.
Right.
I was trying to get things ready and I clicked the wrong button because I am keen to go, but I didn't mean to go without saying goodbye.
Well, I think I made some comment like that. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much. Take care. Go get wet, Sari. And I've actually forgot to use my proper camera this week and I didn't even notice the difference. Here we go. How's your timing, bro? Sarah, you just go if you want.
I am going to go.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here and trade cards with Huawei for a minute or two.
Yeah.
I can't resist.
Hey, Blacky. Good. This is weird.
What I can't understand this angle. Do you have like one of those standing desks that it's absolute maximum or something?
No. This is on top of my dresser.
Right.
I don't look. Yeah.
You've got a dresser? I thought only royalty had those.
It's where I did Zoom classes on. I had to do Zoom classes. I graduated them, but I did them I just stood up and had it for my.
I mean, isn't standing up is probably a more logical position to do learning in than sitting down and being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You can stand up and rock
down
from foot to foot.
Yeah.
What's on your head? Is that a backwards baseball cap?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You're probably still young enough to get away with a backwards baseball cap. Just.
Yeah. I'm 36. I'll be 37 in November.
Yeah, right. And as soon as you turn 37, no more backwards baseball caps for you.
But I just didn't want to do anything with my hair. So
oh yeah, hat's a good solution for that.
Yeah.
I think I've only got my lawn mowing hat and I've got a cowboy hat that I occasionally wear, but not very regular. We probably don't go out in the sun and do any work enough. Yeah, he doesn't look 36, does he? Maybe you're lying to us, Huawei.
I am born in 85.
Well, the maths adds up, and that was, it's like you didn't have to calculate that to work it out. It was fresh there in your mind. What year was I born in? Let's put it in the chat. Let's go, chat. This is waste another few minutes waiting for people who can remember what year I was born in. I know I've said it on stream many times.
It's not 66, is it?
No. I'm not sure whether to take that as an offense or not. and a
Well,
front.
it's Dr. Black 66. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just because of Satan.
At least it's not 88. 88's a white supremacy thing.
Oh, yeah. I heard that.
The eighth letter in the alphabet is H and 2 H's. Hell Hitler. Yeah.
That's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
That's yeah.
Got another one. I'm on fire today with my hand catching. The spider's got to weave tighter webs. I don't know. That's like I throw the flies at the web so that like they make a tingle when they land.
So the spider catches them. Knows food's there.
They just keep going straight through. Even I had a big march fly yesterday. It was like nearly an inch long. Oh, inch long includes the word schlong for those playing at home. Through it, and it just went straight through the web. It's like, I'm not sure if I'm harboring a lame spider or what, but this guy needs to build tighter webs, this girl. Yeah, I know what a dresser is, Alyssa. Goodness me. We have furniture down here as well, but, you know, royalty, they have people called dressers that dress them when they get out of bed in the morning or when they need to change outfits. That's easy for you to say. Zuri Basara, Nick, is close, but he also has a little bit of inside information considering we went through most of school together. So he knows that I was probably born in a year close to him. And I was very close to 1975, but I wasn't. 1974 was my year of birth. But right at the end, December 30, 1974. So now everyone can hack my social security number if I had one.
What's your mother's maiden name?
Toast.
And your first pet?
Dongle.
Okay, cool.
That was some pretty interesting words to come up with on the fly. Yeah, so by that, doesn't that mean my porn star name is Toast Dongle? No, the porn star name was the street you lived in.
On plus your pet name, or your pet name, and first pet. Yeah,
that would be, I don't know. My first official pet that I can remember was a pet cockatoo we had called Charlie, and the first street I lived on was Bright Street. So my porn star name would be Bright Charlie.
I'd be Frankwood Balin.
Frankwood Balin.
Yeah.
That's at least it's got wood in there.
Yeah.
And Frank Wood.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be straight with you.
I was gonna tell a joke that I learned in prison, but I don't know if it would be appropriate.
You know what stream you're on, right?
Yeah. Oh, I do. It's about 3 bees.
About 3 what?
Bees. Like flying bees. Okay. There's 3 bees in a sealed mason jar. Right? 2 female bees and a male bee. The 2 female bees are flying around trying to figure out how to get out. The male bee is just chilling at the bottom. The first female bee flies down to the male bee and says, "Hey, how do I get out of here?" The male bee says, "Well, fuck me and I'll tell you." So they fuck. And then the male bee says, "What I want you to do is you fly around, you hit the top, and you'll be out." So she flies around, hits the top, smack, dead. Second bee doesn't see it. She flies down to the Melby and says, "Hey, how do I get out of here?" The Melby, the Melby says, "Well, fuck me, and I'll tell you." So they fuck, and then the Melby says, "Well, what you're gonna do is you fly around, and you're gonna hit the side, and you'll be out." So she flies around, boom, dead. The Melby flies out.
I don't get it. Am I spastic or what?
What don't you get?
And the male bee flies out.
Yeah.
No, I'm confused.
What?
What?
What are you confused about?
Is it? How does he just fly out if they both died from trying to fly out?
Fuck me, and I'll tell you.
Now I understand why that's a prison joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been dying to tell that joke, but I've held on to it for like 3 years. I haven't had a chance to really say it to somebody. Thank you, Blacky.
I'm glad I was dumb enough to fall for it. Excellent. I'm glad you got some closure out of that.
Thank you.
And now I'll have to try and remember it so I can use it at some stage in the future. That's pretty good, though. I'm sure you were here when I told my Irish joke before, weren't you?
Mm.
About the tree fellas.
There's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite jokes ever. It's stuck with me since. So simple yet perfect. You know when comedy hits that level that it's just so basic and elementary, but it's absolutely ideal. 100% perfect. I missed one, by the way. Missed a fly. My percentage is going down. All right. Well, I'm super busting for toilet, and I'm really glad that you came up.
Me too. I didn't want to disappoint you.
I'm the opposite of glad that it took this long to happen.
Me too.
So I'm going to continually send you a link each week, and you can just decide when you pop up and do a little segment called.
I'm super shy.
No, you're doing well. I mean, and you're certainly absolutely not unaesthetic on camera. You're not an unattractive dude. So, any worries you have about not being pretty enough for camera. I mean, I've got bags under my eyes. I've got bad teeth and stuff, and I don't care about being on camera.
My teeth.
I always quote, I believe it's a Jack Nicholson quote. And I say, the less you give a fuck, the happier you will be. I'm not sure if it's Jack Nicholson quote, but the meme that I have of it has a photo of him from one of his movies where he's just so disheveled and his hair's all over the place and he's dressed in trash and he's just giving his, his famous big smile.
It's a very true quote, though. Whoever said it.
Yeah, it is. It's actually been a life changer for me. About general stuff. Some things, obviously, in life you have to give a fuck about. But, all of the stuff that people tend to give a fuck about is not that important. Oh, we were going to go, and then bloody Nick brings up a great question. The difference between marmalade and jam. Now, Zuri, you're going to have to specify, because I can get into ingredients if you like. Or are you talking about people's opinions of the difference between? Or are you just clutching at straws?
Jam and jelly?
Yeah, jam's supposed to have more bits of the fruit in it. Oh, here we go. This is another joke, is it?
I can't jelly my dick in your ass.
The stupid thing is that I've heard that before, but I don't think I've ever laughed at it as hard. It's just... G'day, Chewy. What a moment to come in on. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
Well,
No,
I'll let you go rest the crocodile and
no. I just want to sit here and listen to your jokes now. What else you got? You've spent all your best material in the first 2 minutes.
Well, they I remember them situationally. I don't remember them all at once off the top of my head.
Yeah. Like something sort of trigger that memory to go, oh, this joke's perfect for this moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I know I have a joke for that. Yeah.
That's brilliant. You should use that to make money. That's how stand-up comedians work, isn't it? Like, especially for crowd work, when someone says something stupid in the crowd and you've got a joke ready to go to nail that prick to the wall. I just had a text message from Zuri explaining his joke. Why wouldn't you just put that in the text, man? We swear on this stream. We don't care. It's essentially it's exactly the same as your joke.
Oh, okay.
I can't marmalade my dick into your ass. Which I guess it's a more appropriate version of the joke for down here. Because we don't... Okay. Our jelly down here is your jello.
Okay.
Whereas even our jams that are like your jelly are still just called jam.
Australians are weird.
Well, a little bit, but you know, we own it.
I still don't understand how ketchup is tomato sauce. What do you put on spaghetti if ketchup is tomato sauce?
Yeah, tomato sauce.
Yeah. You put tomato sauce on spaghetti. You dip fries or chips. Or do you call them fries or chips?
Chips, yes.
Chips.
Unless you're at McDonald's and then you have to order them as fries, because I think they're the only fast food joint that still lists them as fries on their menu.
Don't you call McDonald's Maccas?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a really dark period in Australian history in the late 90s where Australians were trying to adopt the Mickey D's. But yeah, that didn't last long because it's definitely not a very Australian way to say it. Macca's, I think, is going to stick.
The McDonald's, I think it's all over. McDonald's in the States don't have Ronald McDonald as a mascot anymore. The clown.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. Do you still have them in Australia?
Yeah, there's even some of them still have out like in the playground area where the kiddies seesaws and slippery dips are. They'll still have like a park bench where one end of the bench is occupied by a statue of Ronald.
We used to have that where it's just hanging out there.
I think they tend to get rid of them now because with the age of social media and stuff, I think more people tend to abuse Ronald than use him for cutesy photographs and whatnot.
KFC has that with the Colonel usually on a bench by the restaurant or inside the restaurant with his arm on the bench for you to sit down next to him.
Mm.
He's all white though.
You know he was buried in that outfit?
I probably. I mean, I don't think about that, but yeah.
I'm not sure if it was his choice or whether it was the marketing department on fire going, oh, let's put him in that outfit that he's known for. not his favorite suit. Let's put him in his commercial outfit. That probably means nothing to him except money.
Yeah, it was just a costume.
Righto. Any more jokes? Hang on. You said I've got to raise a topic. No, I can't. I don't have it. I'm too focused on my full bladder.
Yeah. A lot of the jokes I would tell you in private, but yeah, a lot of the jokes are just bad.
Bad jokes are some of my favorites. But anyway, what in saying that, then we'll close down this stream. We'll shut it off. You stay there. I'll go do a piss and get a new drink, and then I'll come back and you tell me your worst 3 jokes. As in worst. No. Worst as in.
No. We're gonna do this right now. I still want to be your friend, Blacky.
Telling bad jokes is not going to take you away from my friendship. Well, I got my fair share as well. You know, this modern age of social media has inhibited so much comedy, but it's really good to see that some comedians are getting out in front of it and just not caring and just smashing it anyway. The new heroes are the comedians willing to go beyond.
Like Daniel Tosh. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's kind of a shock comedian.
Does he still tour stand-up?
I don't know. I know I think that Tosh.0 is still on TV. I don't know. I don't watch TV though, so.
Yeah, I get like I follow Tosh on the Instagram, so I get the occasional feed through there, and some of it seems like it's clips from old shows, but some of it I haven't seen, so potentially that show is still going. And geez, he must make a bunch of money off that. But I heard, I can't remember, I think it might have been We Might Be Drunk, Mark Normand and Sam Morrill's podcast. I think they were talking about Tosh the other day, and I think one of them mentioned that Tosh was still doing shows and stuff. But yeah, he's apparently a real elusive celebrity and won't do interviews or anything like that. He's the modern day Prince. So yeah,
there was another guy. He had a special called Caligula. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was very blue for blue's sake, or dark for everything was real bad with him.
So he went dark and blue, but didn't succeed.
He had a show on Comedy Central for a little bit, but Anthony Jeselnik is his name.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. And I love Jeselnik. He's one of my favorites. His podcast is really good too. And one of the things about his podcast is they've just maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, the Jeselnik Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP, has they've just gone to video on YouTube in the last few weeks. So not only an audio podcast anymore, but video as well. And that's a really good part, because I've often wondered when Rosenthal, Jeselnik's sidekick, is making some of his statements and stuff, you can sort of hear in Anthony's voice his facial reactions. And, I've been creating them in my mind, how he's reacting. But now, thanks to the YouTube feed, I can actually visualize it and see it as it happens, sort of thing. But yeah, he's a fantastic comedian, and he won't ever back down to any of the complaints or anything about some of his stuff. I mean, Fire in the Maternity Ward was possibly one of the best comedy specials ever. he just doesn't give a fuck. He just nails everything and just remains super cool the whole time doing it. And hence is definitely one of my favorite comedians and always will be. What other comedians do you like? Bill Burr? He's in a similar
I
vein.
like Bill Burr.
He doesn't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks.
God, can't think of
Santino?
I like comedy.
Segura?
Oh yeah, Tom Segura. And what's his name? The guy that I always mix up with Tom Segura.
Shane Gillis? Burt Kreischer?
He has a wife that also does comedy. They have a podcast, and Tom Segura is often on that podcast. I can't think of it right now. I just look stupid.
Email it when you think of it. I'd like to know what comedy influences you. Anyway, enough boring comedy talk. But these people don't care about comedy. They just want us gone. Let's go.
Fly on your forehead. You had a fly on your forehead.
Did I? Is that what it was? I thought it was just all running loose. There's so many here. They're just everywhere. This is going to become obsolete soon because I just won't be able to. I'll run out of energy from swinging it too much.
You get those electric ones, those electric fly swatters?
Yeah, I got one inside.
Okay.
It was good fun for a minute. They're also good fun. There's a few videos out there of people hitting other people with them.
Yeah, they don't hurt when you hit them, but if you pinch them, you get a shock. You can poke them and snap them all you want. They don't hurt at all. But if you pinch the mesh, that's where you feel it.
I might have to give that a go. G'day, Zenny. Good time to pop in. We're just about to walk away from this and leave. Oh, hang on. Chewy, you got to be really old to like my favourite comedian. Well, I'm fairly old. Who's your favourite comedian, Chewy? Charlie Chaplin? Lou Costello? I'm trying to think of old ones. Bob Hope? Lenny Henry? Lenny Henry was good. He was a bloody trailblazer. Oh, Groucho Marx. Yeah, Groucho Marx is a legend. That bloody painted on moustache was one of my favourite things in old-timey Hollywood. And it, never gave up, always. Big square painted moustache. Loved it. A Day at the Races, Night at the Opera, Duck Soup. And some of Groucho's songs were fantastic and very, very creatively written and well ahead of his time. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get out of here. Sorry, Chewy and Zen Ginger, who have arrived late to only get 6 or 7 minutes of this glory.
Hi, Randy.
Anyway. Just deal with it. All right. Thanks heaps for coming up, Huawei, and for modding before you came up. Clearly, you haven't been modding since.
One of your brown tree snake videos. It took some searching, but I did find one, and I did post it.
The brown tree snake or the brown snake one where the big brown snakes were fighting?
I'm not sure. I was scrolling a while before I saw anything about a snake, so I just posted the first one because you're upset with us for not finding them and posting them. I did my best. I did my best.
If I ever get upset about stuff like that, I'm in a real bad space because I know you guys do an awesome job, and if I'm shouting cranky words at you, you've got to have done something pretty much nastier than not being able to locate a link. So
That's why I'm not telling you those jokes that I'm not going to make.
I feel so left out now. I want nasty jokes all the time. All right, let's do this. Let's go. Everyone, thanks again. I know I said all of this stuff about 19 minutes ago. Thanks heaps for hanging out this far. Replay Team 6, you bunch of lunatics. If you've hung around this long, what are we? Not quite 3 hours, but still, that's lunatic levels, no doubt. Huawei, GRB, thanks for slinging links. Thanks for coming up on screen. Maybe we'll do an episode in the future where it's me and Huawei and GRB talking mod skills. I'm sure the general population will be quite interested in the ins and outs of modding stuff. People crying themselves to sleep at night, wondering, how do mods do it? How do they get it done? All right, everyone. Thanks heaps for hanging out. And as usual, you're welcome. We'll see yous when we're looking at yous.